This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN. MTN everywhere you go. For the past few weeks, we've been talking about different ways of backing up your digital life and even your devices. We took you through how you can solve some of the 40 issues that you may have. Tonight, our focus is on small businesses. We want to focus on small businesses. I mean, we are in the era that a lot of people have a lot of information. And how is that being stored? Are you still using external hard drives for your business? We are going to have a conversation about cloud solutions. Cloud solutions. If you've heard about it and have wondered what it's all about, don't worry. Tonight, my guest and I are going to break it down for you. So stay tuned with us. If you have any friend, any family member who has a business, or probably you don't even have a business, as an individual, you would like to learn about this, why not just join us and listen to our conversation? Just before we went to listen to the emerging tech trends, I mentioned that tonight our focus is on small businesses and how they can implement cloud solutions. So if you're wondering what we are talking about, don't worry at all. My guests are in-house. We are ready and we are going to delve into the conversation pretty shortly. I have with me Emmanuel Gadasu. He is a data protection consultant and an IT entrepreneur. Emmanuel, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I also have with me Prince Edu. He is a cybersecurity consultant and then also the certifications chair for Isaka Ghana. Prince, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me, gentlemen. I think I'm going to start first with you, Emmanuel. Just a little something about you that probably my listeners will not be aware of, apart from what I have given as an introduction, so that at least they know who is going to be sharing with them about our topic tonight.
Well, I think basically you've done it all. Yes. So,
That's about it.
yes, I am a programmer.
Okay.
IT, core profession IT,
Mm-hmm.
has transisted through different circles, through cybersecurity, and now more into data protection and privacy.
All right.
Yes.
I didn't mention you're also a Toastmaster.
Yes, I'm also
For
a
those
Toastmaster.
listening,
Yes.
Toastmaster, and I'm also a Toastmaster. It's good to have another Toastmaster here on the show this evening. Okay, I'm Prince. Anything?
Yeah, I have over 10 years experience when it comes to cyber information security. And over the years, I've been able to mentor quite a number of students and also professionals who want to transition into cyber information security. Yeah, basically.
That is good to know. Okay, so this evening, like I said, our focus is on small businesses, and I'm really stressing on the small businesses because we have a lot of people who are into different types of small businesses here in Ghana, and with what they do, there are times that they may have a need for some of the solutions that we are going to be talking about. And that's why we are having this conversation about cloud technology. So, starting with you first, Prince, this is like a Cloud 101 section.
Right.
What exactly is cloud technology for someone listening?
Okay, thanks very much for the question. When it comes to cloud, before me even getting to cloud, I thought that there was when you look up in the skies, you see that there's a cloud there. So, is that the place where my computers are? Or that's where I'm connecting.
Is that where the information is being kept or what?
Exactly. I go like, hey, then this thing will fall down. I mean, this is where my data is. But in the layman's terms, cloud is basically what I always term is just like a computer that is sitting in your room. But in this case, it is sitting in a remote area or in another person's country or let's say a data center where you connect using your mobile device or your laptop, where you have to use internet to be able to connect. So that is cloud. So what it means, cloud is nothing different from what you know, but the only thing is that you are just accessing somebody else's information or data that is being processed, right? So what it means is that then you now subscribe to that particular service. That is what the cloud is. So what it means is that now for small businesses, it's It's something that is easy for you to use because it's not capital intensive. You don't need to buy anything in terms of hardware, in terms of software. What you need to do is that you just have to subscribe it, then spin it, and then there you go. So you can connect it anywhere because you are now using your internet. All you need is internet, basically. Yes.
Once you have access to internet, the
You're
information
good to go.
wherever it is stored, you can have access to it. Emmanuel, what do you have to add to that? I mean, the benefit, why it's important for small business to even think about this so-called cloud solution that we are talking about, not what is hanging over us anyway.
Okay, so I would want to use this analogy.
Okay.
It's not everybody that can buy a private car. But there are a lot of trotros around where we can all get on it and get to where we want to get to. So instead of a business going in for the infrastructure, which they may not be able to use its full capacity.
Please, because of the focus, when you say infrastructure, can we just talk about some of the things that go into
so
that?
So you wouldn't be able to buy the servers that you need, the high-end computers that you need, the air conditioning that you need to secure the place, the IT staff that can help you support those gadgets and devices. You wouldn't be able to do that. So what you do is that you join the trotro, which the trotro is the cloud that we are talking about.
It will be cheap for you.
Which will be very, very cheap compared to the capacity you can use. So we all sit in the trotro going to the same location.
Exactly.
Somebody can afford to drive all alone
buy fuel
and do that. Depend on the capacity and what they do. So you looking at it and you say, I can afford a trotro. So the trotro, in this sense, is now the cloud. So you don't spend all your money, all your operational costs on getting your own, but you now ride on people who can provide those services, which will be much, much cheaper than you going in for it yourself. So the computing power that you need to do your processing activities, the software that you need, the licenses may be too much for your organization. So you go in there to get on board, subscribe to these cloud services, and there you go. You don't take care of all these things. All you have to do is to use it to your capacity and pay the ones that you have used. So on your way to Tema, if you get to Accra Mall and you want to allow, you pay for the distance you have covered. You don't need to pay for the whole infrastructure.
I get you on that.
Yes.
I get you on that. So just like we have the MTN Business Cloud Solutions, that would be like the Chocho in this case. Exactly. You can have access to what you want. You don't necessarily have to pay for everything in terms of server costs, in terms of the different, like you said, these data centers will have to even be secured. Exactly. The cost that goes into all that. So in using cloud services, you don't have to think about all that. Okay, I think that is really rightly said. So what are some of the misconceptions that some people may have about it? Because I remember there was a particular, I think this was, I can't remember whether it was CISO Summit or so, when someone made a particular submission that they are the ones who championed their business having the cloud solutions. And because of that, when the listing came, even though it had nothing to do with the cloud solution that they had, they went to call him that, hey, you are Mr. Cloud, you have done this. What are some of the misconceptions that people have about the cloud solution? I'll start first with you, Emmanuel, and then I'll come to you.
So one of the misconceptions that people or small businesses have is that the cloud is for big enterprises. So that's the first misconception. So it's expensive, which is not so. Then the second one is about the security on these platforms.
It's really an issue for a lot of people.
Exactly. So a lot of people think that, hey, why should I put my data in the cloud? People will have access to it. Somebody else could use it. Hackers can have access to it. But the truth is that the security that a single or a small business can offer cannot be compared to what the big guys can offer. They have the infrastructure because they are also into business. Yeah. So they put in place all the needed infrastructure for you, all the needed security, and they will be more proactive than you are.
Seriously, otherwise, why would we even subscribe to it if they don't put in all those measures?
Exactly.
So it's necessary, and those are some of the misconceptions that people actually have, that is not secure, and then...
It's for big guys, the big companies, yes. But actually, if you look at it in reality, the cloud even offers more leverage to the smaller businesses.
I think that's why we are even having this conversation, to let them be aware of this. Any other misconception?
Yes, so another misconception is that I don't have control over my data. Because, I mean, if my data is sitting somewhere that I don't know, then what it means that tomorrow when I wake up and then the
I
business
can't have
is,
access
you
again.
know, exactly, then my business is gone, sort of. It's a clear misconception. It has one of, the cloud has one of the robust regulations. It has one of the robust accesses when it comes to access to your data, and it has good access control systems where you are the one that have access to the key to your kingdom. Because when it comes to, we have something called cloud tenant. You see that the way you, it's a compound house, tenant.
Yeah,
I have my door. You also have your door,
Yeah.
sort of. You have the
Yeah.
key to it, so nobody will be able to get access to it. So that is one of the misconceptions about cloud, and one of the things I also need to also emphasize has to do with the security aspect. Even though that we know that the cloud service provider, we call them CSPs, like the Amazon, the Microsoft Azure, and
Google
the likes.
and all that. Yeah.
Yes, we have something called hypervisor. So the hypervisor is something that spins up the entire cloud infrastructure for you to also have your share. That is called the tenant. Now the hypervisor, which is like the mother of all the cloud, they are securing it with all the, just think about all the security tools. They are spending billions of dollars in securing it. But then it doesn't mean that you, as a small business, you having access to your tenant, your room. You don't need to secure it, because that one, you also have something called a responsibility, because you have the responsibility to make sure that your key that you are using, you don't share with anybody. You have to make sure that before somebody comes into your tenant, you have to make sure that it goes through proper controls, such as firewalls, making sure that anybody that comes in it, you can be able to record that this person came in at this time and at this date. That is auditing. So when it comes to some of these things with the misconceptions that it's not secured, yes, it is very secured, but it also has
You have a
gives
role
you
to
a role to
play.
play actually in it. Yes.
You can't just say it's cloud solution is secure.
So
So
you go to bed.
you can't you believe in things anywhere, like you said.
Exactly.
I remember there's something that I think one colleague that we know, he usually says, he said, usually you lock your door. The night that you forget to lock it, that's the night that you have some robbers come around.
Exactly.
So definitely, if you have access to the cloud solutions, there are procedures, there are rules for you, the user, and you would need to follow them. So, Emmanuel, let me just ask you this. We are talking about all this, and for a small business listening in, they are now probably thinking, like you said, it's a misconception that people think it's for the big guys. What are some of the operational costs, and how can they even reduce it? Or, I mean, can we just talk about that so that they know that it's not really about big businesses having access? And if you're just joining us, we are having a conversation on how small businesses can leverage cloud solutions. If you have any question, you can send us your message on the WhatsApp number 055 1111 997 055 1111 997. I have with me Emmanuel and Prince, and if you have any questions, you want to understand anything, any comment, you can just send it through our WhatsApp number. Yeah, so Emmanuel, as I was saying,
All right.
some operational
So,
costs, yeah.
Yes, a lot of organizations need infrastructure. By infrastructure, we mean the physical service, the tools, the licenses to use the softwares and the platform that you have. To be able to set this up to stay in business continuously, it means you would have to provide those things yourself. So a business might go for the high-end server, the blade servers, and the other things. They need to have what data centers to be able to operate across. But maintaining this, electricity cost alone, the staff, is very high. So to reduce this, the cloud platforms offers the opportunity to reduce this in more than 50% of the initial cost or the cost of operating your business to have all these things for yourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you pay as you use.
That's
By
the
going
thing.
for the subscription-based one. So if this month you decide that no, I'm not going to use this, you don't pay for it. So it is actually an opportunity for the small businesses to leverage on cloud services to cut down their operational costs. So things like taking care of, for example, to employ a security professional now, it's very high. And that
Prince,
person
you are
is
laughing
coming to
about
actually
that
look at
because you know
security.
what is going to go into
Yes,
that.
you need to have a database person, they're programming to, and the licensing for these tools.
Yeah.
Okay, they are very high. You
Yeah.
can't maintain this. So you just pay a small. So compared to you implemented this things yourself and you going by the cloud approach, you can see that it is very, very minimal comparatively. Very, very minimal.
Got you. So, like
Yes.
your church analogy that you're using,
Yes.
these companies that offer the cloud solutions are bearing these costs,
Exactly.
and then more or less it's shared across board. So you just
Yes.
pay your subscription fee, and then
Yes.
you are good to
Good.
go.
Yes.
So in terms of operational costs, that is where they are helping you reduce that initial cost that you would have spent on your infrastructure, which is a very good idea.
So, for example, imagine you driving your car from here to Tamale. How much fuel are you going to use in and
Exactly.
out? So you say, why not? Let me join STC, let me join the VIP buses, and there I go.
Yeah.
So you still, whether you are light at Kintampo or Sunyane, you just pay for what you are using.
Yeah.
Whilst others continue on their journey. So depending on your needs. And like the way the different cars are there are smaller cars, business one that could run faster, and all other things. So you look at your needs, then you go for the one that suits your needs in an appropriate manner.
Got you. So you're talking about the needs as a small business. Prince, what are the steps that I would need to take if I want to set up having this cloud solution?
Yeah, so this aspect is really critical because first of all, it's important that you should have a strategy. You should know the business reason why you want to move to the cloud. Because if you don't know why you want to move to the cloud and you hear that the cloud is a buzzword, so you want to move
I want to do it.
you'll be surprised.
Because I've heard it on Geek Squad.
Exactly. So you should have a business case and a business reason why you want to move in, and then have something called an enterprise architecture. Because you need to, just like the way you are going to build a house, you have to make sure that you have an architecture of your building and know what goes into it, what I will leave, what I want to take to the cloud, what needs to go into it. So once you are able to build this business case and be able to know what you really need out of it, then the next step is for you to be able to have something called a budget. So once you have a budget, by that time you should be able to know what you need. Then you should know how much bandwidth am I going to use.
But how do I come up with a budget when I'm not really sure in terms of what I have to spend, or I just have to apportion a certain amount and say, okay, this is likely to be the budget?
No.
Uh-huh.
No. So what you need to do is that, okay, which of the cloud service providers do I need to go with?
Okay.
And it fits into my business model.
Okay.
Right. So if you want to go with AWS, you just have to engage a cloud provider. Then you'll be able to get all the details that you need. Secondly, if it's Microsoft Azure, if it's Google Cloud, whatever it is, you should be able to get that. Once you are able to get all these things, then the next step is to be able to now get, I will always recommend that when you're moving to the cloud as a small business, get a professional, because you need that guidance to be able to know what you want and what you need. Once you are able to do that, then you now, if the question is, are you already running an on-prem service, or you are...
What is on-prem for someone who doesn't
Okay.
understand?
So an on-prem is you having your own data center in your own office
Your own
that you are
premises,
running,
yeah.
that you are paying for electricity cost, you are paying for technology staff and all these things. So what it means is that you are now moving to the cloud. So once you are moving to the cloud, then you need to know what goes into the cloud. What flavors am I going to get? What kind of services am I going to get into? But most importantly, you need to draw something called a key performance indicator. What is my objective? What am I really seeking to be able to get out of it? Based on that, then after you migrating, now let's take a step back. If you have an on-prem system and you now want to move to the cloud, what it means is that you are now doing something called transitioning. Once you are transitioning, you have different methods by which you can transition. You can run a parallel model where you are running the same services in your office, and then you are running the same thing in the cloud to be able to ensure that everything is working perfectly. Or if you feel very confident that, okay, I want to move to the cloud abruptly, then you can move abruptly. But I will recommend that you are able to move in phases. Okay, then you are able to move in phases. But most importantly, the cloud is like you going to Makola. it has a lot of things you can buy. It will excite you because everything is easy.
Church analogy. Now we
Exactly.
have
You have
Makola.
Makola, you
Okay.
understand? So go to Makola, you want to buy meat, you want to buy dry fish, you want to buy, but most importantly, make sure that whatever you are buying fits into your purpose, because there are some things that you wouldn't need. So make sure that there are some services that you wouldn't subscribe to. There are some services that you have to subscribe to. So these are the basics that you need to get in at play whenever you want to move to the cloud.
Got you. I think, Emmanuel, what I just want to find out from the submission Prince has given so far is the fact that what if I don't have anything on-prem at all? I'm just hearing this conversation, and because of the strategy I have, I want to be able to expand easily and all that. I want to have the cloud solution. What would you say should be the steps I should follow?
All right. So just to premise on what Prince had just outlined, so you can straight away go into the cloud if you don't have any on-prem, any infrastructure existing for you to go on. So first, the appropriateness of the platform for your needs is one of the key things, because there are various platforms serving different types of customers, different types of technology tools. So you look at what your business needs, which cloud service can provide that one for me.
Can we? I know we've mentioned someone. Can we touch on the different
Okay, so
cloud
for
service
example,
providers?
if you are going to, you have more of maybe a consultancy, okay, where you deal with document collaboration and all that stuff, you'll be looking at a platform like what Microsoft 365. All right, once you subscribe to that, all the tools that Microsoft, you just add them as and when you need. So for the start, you could start with Teams,
Yeah.
Microsoft Office, Excel, PowerPoint, Word. You start with those ones, but
Yeah.
there are more tools
Like
in
you said,
there.
like Makola.
Yes. So as and when you need them, you keep on adding them
Yeah.
and keep on paying for the ones that you actually need. So you can straight away. So for this, you don't need to pay any volume license installing for the number of staff that you need or the number of computers that you have. Once the subscription is done, you can just allocate it to all your staff to be able to use. So that is in the consultancy sense. Now, if you have a platform where maybe you are a developer, you produce other platforms or tools for people, then the needs might be doing. Then you might be looking at what? AWS or Azure platform, which could also offer that capacity of service infrastructure that you would need to be able to do the processing. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, like she said, the platform as a service instead of you having to build everything up your own, which the probability that the cost will be very high for you.
Very high.
Yes.
It's not really worth it.
Yes.
We have a message. He says, I'm Kwesi. I always listen to you. Thank you, Kwesi. He said, how can my small electrical and electronic workshop benefit from cloud computing? I'm an electrical engineer. Friends, the way you are smiling, what response will you have for Kwesi?
Yeah, Kwesi. So, this is a good question. So, this is for you. Cloud is for you. Why am I saying this? You want to compete and then grow, right? You want to expand, right? So you want to reach a lot of customers. Okay, so you can leverage on the cloud applications or cloud systems. So I can give you some ideas. So let's say that you are an electrical engineer and you provide these services. Maybe you are in Pokuase and I'm at, let's say, Rich. I need somebody to be able to fix my TV or something for me. But the only thing is that I can go online, let's say an Upwork. I can go to Upwork, and then because you've signed on to Upwork, which is a cloud-based platform anyway, what it means is that you've been able to advertise your services. I'll be able to reach out to you to be able to now give me the services, because you've been able to pay premium for advertising your services. So when you talk about cloud, we are not talking about a big thing. I mean, we are talking about its feasibility within your everyone's or small businesses domain, right? So when it comes to the global stage, who knows? You might also get a multinational or somebody who is outside, because where you are, nobody knows you. But then you are really, really good at what you do. But if you are able to take advantage of cloud applications. Sometimes when you talk about cloud applications, it's not a big thing. Come on, you even use cloud. So far as you have a Gmail, it's
Gmail.
even a cloud.
Yes,
A cloud is software as a
software
service.
as a service, yeah.
Right. So there's a whole lot of opportunities for you to be able to advertise your platform. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In addition to what Prince has just said, so for example, is it Kwesi or
Kwesi, yeah.
Okay, so Kwesi would have to provide invoices to his customers. You have to keep inventory. You need to keep records of the customers that you manage. So you'll be needing a CRM, customer relationship management system.
Yeah.
You'll be needing an invoicing platform where you
Yeah.
can do all these things.
Yeah.
You need a system to manage the inventory of all the things that you have.
Okay.
So all these things, why do you have to build this thing or get licensing for them alone?
So what would you suggest? Which of the
So
cloud
he
services?
subscribes to any of this. So the CRMs, there are plenty. The inventory, some of them are in the Microsoft 365.
Okay.
Some could also be free. I don't know. Google Suite also
Yes.
has some of these things that you
Yeah.
can just incorporate. So
Okay.
once you buy the license,
He
some
have
can give you
access.
30 days for free to try and see how these things work. So in invoicing, you don't have to wait till you get home before you send an invoice to a customer.
Yeah.
Wherever
Wherever
you
you
are,
are.
you log
I
on to
think
the
that's the
platform.
beauty of the
Yes,
cloud
you
solution.
just issue the invoice and straight away you go. You get the response and you can interact with your customers at any point in time. So let's say Kwesi travels to Tamale to do something like that. You don't need to come back to Accra before you provide that service. You log onto your platform, you are
On the
issuing
go.
invoices, you know the customer, you have their contact, you're able to reach out to them as and when. Not only in Ghana, you travel outside the country, so long as there is internet, you are able to operate your business fully. So those are the advantages that you would get instead of operating them.
Just to add to it,
Yeah.
just quickly, I think over last week there was a client that needed an invoice immediately. I was not in the office, and I had to issue an invoice via the cloud. I was able to generate one and then send it to them on the fly.
Okay. Okay. If you're listening to us, we're having a conversation on how you can leverage on cloud solutions as a small business. And you can read more about that. MTN offers business cloud solutions as well. We have another message. It says, my Google business account has been suspended. I still haven't heard from Google. So today I contacted the Google help and was chatting online concerning this issue. At the final stage, I was sent a page to pay $1 for the query to be concluded. I entered the conversation but didn't fill the details for the $1. So I wonder if this $1 is really going to Google. This is from Ifwa. And she says, okay, her account has been suspended. She's still trying to appeal the suspension, but it's not working. Any idea what she can do?
Okay, let me take this. So
Okay.
normally what Google does is that normally there's a lot of bots. There's a lot of botnets. So why they're asking you to pay the $1 is that they want to make sure that it's a human
It's an
being that
actual
is
human
really
being.
behind it. So the $1 has nothing to do with it. They just want to confirm that indeed there's a human behind that PC.
But do they refund
this.
it back?
No, unfortunately, well, I don't know. I won't speak for them, but
They don't.
I mean, it's something that.
But
you
their
would
way
have
of
to do.
checking if you are not a bot there.
The bots really disrupt a lot of
Yeah,
businesses sometimes.
yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why they do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's asking that she's trying to appeal, but it's not working. Is there any idea what she can do about that? I'm not very sure why the account was suspended in the first
Yes.
place.
So at times, maybe if they look at the usage pattern, it's not normal. Looking at the capacity you have subscribed to or the free volumes and the things that you are using. So it may raise some issues that they are also not so sure about. So it could be suspended. So once you take further steps, okay. So I'm thinking that they have reached the stage where they really want to do the final confirmation. Yeah. But I think $1 may not be so much, so you could just pay so that you get the services. Yeah.
As a business.
Yes.
Got you.
Especially if you are using it for business purposes, then I think the $1 will be
Makes
okay.
sense.
Got you. Okay. I know that, Emmanuel, you mentioned teams at a point. So talking about cloud solutions, how can small businesses leverage on the collaborations that they offer in terms of the cloud solutions that are available?
Okay. In our modern times, collaboration is one of the key strengths of every business. So once you are able to work on things in real time, That is the beauty of it. So, for example, we are all
Like what
working.
he was able to do.
Yes, we
was
are
like-
working on the same projects, delivering the same, let's say, reports. Of course, go and do this. If you are doing your own thing, you would have to finish, transfer it, send it through an email to another party colleague to work on it.
Yes.
Why can't we all work on it at the same time?
But that thing was something else. So whenever the person has the time, you send it today. If you are going to be able to do it 3 days time, they finish before it comes back to you to check it.
Yeah.
Yes. But now I create the folder, I put this in, and we can all be working on it in
At the
real
same
time.
time.
You can see who is working on what and who is doing what. So we can edit the document, contribute equally in real time. So it fosters what? Very serious what? Collaboration. It will cut down the wait time, because until I finish and send it to you, you wouldn't be able to work on it.
Exactly.
But here lies the case, we are all working on it at the same time. And the beauty of this is we don't need to be in the same office. So a party
Once I
can
have
be in
access to
Kenya
internet.
doing business on our behalf, another in Tamale, we are here in Accra, but we are all able to work on this same thing collaboratively in real time. As you tap, you see it. And this one, you don't need to even save anything. On most of the clapper, you don't need to save anything.
It's true.
Once the keyboard or the cursor moves, it is saved in real time. So you don't, the probability of you losing something is very, very minimal.
That's the whole point.
Yes.
That is the whole point of having access to the cloud solution. Any other thing to add to that in terms of the collaboration, Prince?
Yeah, so with the collaboration, one of the advantages is that you don't need everybody to meet in the office. So you can leverage, thanks to COVID, even though COVID came its own,
It came to fast track things for us.
Right, so you can be able to leverage on this cloud-based solution like Microsoft Teams to be able to work remotely without you going to the office and paying transport. Can you imagine? And then you have to pay for electricity and then all those things. So based on that, you can be able to leverage on that. And then as a small business, you can contract somebody else to be able to do something on your behalf, let's say a website design or something like that, and then be able to leverage on that and then get whatever you really want out of your, let's say, value for money. Let me put it that way. So when it comes to collaborations and flexibility, the cloud-based solution is one of the best ways by which you can be able to do that.
Because the interesting thing is that with small businesses, sometimes they have the people they are working for them scattered around in different places. You may be a seamstress, you may have someone who is doing your social media thing for you. You may want to put up a content with solutions that we are talking about right now. Once you subscribe, example, the Microsoft Teams, for instance, or even Google, the normal Gmail that we have access to, Google Docs, you've created the document, the contents that you want to upload, you have the person real time, like you said, they can just go ahead, put in the information that is needed, you get to see it, you okay it, and then there you go. So I think, like we're saying, it really has a role to play in terms of collaboration. People will just have to be thinking around that and the solutions that they can use. If you're just joining us, this is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. We are having a conversation on how to leverage cloud solutions for small businesses, and I'm having the conversation with Prince and Emmanuel. Now, we all have those days when you are low on everything: energy, time, cash, and even airtime and data. Well, that's why MTN Extra Time is an airtime and data advance service that allows you to make calls or browse the internet even when you have insufficient balance. All you have to do is to dial star 506 hash. Star 506 hash, go through the prompts and select the amount of airtime or data you need. It's more than simple. Doing your favorite things on MTN means you don't get interrupted. 997 055 1111 997. Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN. MTN everywhere you go. Tonight we are having a conversation on how you can leverage on cloud solutions for your small businesses. And I'm having a conversation with Prince Edu and Emmanuel Gadasu. If you didn't join us from the start, no worries at all. We are live on YouTube and Facebook at Joy 99.7 FM. You can check out the beginning of the conversations when you get the chance. So, as we have touched on it, we've seen that there is a need for us to be considering the cloud solutions, mainly because of the different offers that they have in terms of the services, collaborations, making all that available. And it's not for big businesses, in quotes, anyone at all. So far as you're even using Gmail, you're already using a cloud solution. So, what we just want to talk about, what are some of the challenges that some of these small businesses, should they decide that they want to go ahead, take the advice that we are given, what are some challenges that they are likely to face? I'll start with you, Prince.
Okay, so when it comes to the cloud, like I said, it's the cloud is really a beast, but it can be a very good servant for you if you really know what you're really going into. So one of the challenges that I've seen over the years is that these small businesses go into the cloud without a clear business strategy or a migration strategy. Because if you want to get into the cloud, even though yes, it has its own cost saving abilities and the likes, you should be able to have a clear plan why you are able or why you are going into the cloud. So this is one of the challenges that I've been able to see, because by the time you realize that you've not had the right intent why you are going to the cloud, you've lost a lot of money, and if you don't take care, you would have lost the interest to be able to get into the cloud in the first place, even though it's a good servant. Secondly, one of the challenges I have seen is that it has to do with responsibilities when it comes to security, because you don't get into the cloud because you think it's by default it's safe, because like I mentioned earlier, you have a responsibility when it comes to securing your infrastructure, because what is most painful is that the hackers are not nice people
At all.
because no, when they get to you, they don't know whether you're a small business or a big business. They just go full attack and ransom you, for example.
Yeah.
Right? They tell you to pay some money, because I mean you also need to run your business. Imagine you've moved everything to the cloud, and I'm my finance manager. I'm supposed to pay my staff. And my hard disk has, or my server has been ransomed by ransomware. How do I pay my staff? You understand? So these are some of the risks that or challenges that I've been able to see over the years. And one of the things too has to do with adherence to regulations, because bear in mind that the cloud is a good servant because you are now at a global stage and you are competing with big companies such as, for example, Salesforce, because Salesforce is also using the same solution you are using, whether it's AWS or Azure or whatever it is. So what it means is that you need to make sure that you have a clear path, a clear plan for your regulations, because somebody is connecting or getting access to your services from EU, for example. What it means is that you are compliant when it comes to GDPR, like for the sake of our
Yes,
listeners,
exactly.
General Data Protection Regulation.
Yeah.
Okay, and what it means is that if you get breached, yeah, 4% of your global annual turnover, you'll be fine with. But the question is, a small business, how much are you even making?
Exactly.
Right. So these are some of the challenges that I've seen over the years that before you can get into it, these are some of the check boxes you need to make sure that you check all these things to be able to move to the class successfully.
I think we'll get into the details of how they can go over these challenges. Do you have any challenge to add on, Emmanuel?
In addition to what Prince has
Yes.
just said, some of the challenges are the downtime. If the system goes down, but in most cases, the cloud service providers, they will be 99.9% available. So the downtime might come from our end. Maybe you lose internet connectivity. That means you
So
are
that's where
actually
the responsibility is on us.
Right.
on us. So the downtime consideration, the availability of internet for continuous, business support processes. Then one of the greatest one, in addition to all this, is the people, the resistance to change. Once you begin to move onto these platforms, people are not used to this. So there are some internal resistances that will automatically surface the moment you begin to adopt these platforms. However, to overcome this, you need to, progress slowly by moving less critical functionalities into the cloud first to experience, to get the people along, to get them used to the platforms before you bring on much more critical systems onto the platform.
I think that's very critical
Yes.
to do.
Yes. So, for example, writing letters and other things, document report, you put those ones there. But critical functions like maybe inventory management, the CRMs and other things, you could still maintain them. So once the people get used to the platforms, then you begin to roll over the critical, or core businesses slowly onto the platform, by which time they would have adapted themselves to the environment, know how to use these platforms, and then you can go ahead.
Yeah. So, Prince, in terms of some of the challenges that you mentioned, what are some of the ways we can overcome them? Because maybe someone is listening, they heard hackers can be unfriendly and all that. But we are not saying cloud solutions, we are deterring people from using it. It's actually the way to go. So what can they do to overcome some of the challenges that we have spoken about?
Yeah, so whenever you are moving to the cloud and you've been able to choose, let's say, your cloud service provider, i.e. being maybe Microsoft Teams, you want to go for software as a service, or you want to also get into, let's say, Microsoft Azure or AWS, make sure that you have something called, you read something called service level agreement. Because with the service level agreement, that is their promise to you that this is the level by which I can go to be able to help you. And based on that, you'll be able to now know your responsibility. The issue is that you should be able to read. Most of the time, we try and then we just, so far as it's plug and play, that is it, you're happy. But you need to also read the SLA and make sure that you read the aspect where it has the security responsibility on your side. So when it comes to the security responsibility, once your tenant is being set up, like the way rooms are, what it means is that then you now have to now check who can now have access to my platform. That is called access control. Who can I give access to, number one? And when it comes to my infrastructure or your server that I've been able to set up, what kind of monitoring system can you put in? In this case, you term it firewall.
Yeah.
But these are some services that does not come for free because it comes at a fee.
Yeah.
But one thing I'll tell the listeners is that take advantage of the free things, because some of these things they give you free for 1 month. After the month, and you'll be able to now know, okay, this is my budget, or this is how much it's going to cost me, because every cloud service provider has a customer success manager.
Yeah.
So you should be able to engage a customer success manager. What is my responsibility? And after me using for 1 month, what is my average cost by which I'll be able to now be need to cough out at the end of
Every
the month.
Mm.
For example. So that is an aspect when it comes to the security. And when it comes to the services, you always have to ensure that you are monitoring what you are using, because at the end of the day, it is money that is going out, which are expenses. So make sure that you are monitoring your services to be able to see how much data am I consuming. One thing about the cloud is that the data you put out there, that is how much you are going to be charged, because you cannot take 1 gig, 2 gig to just dump it like the way Google Drive it. It's not Google Drive. Even with Google Drive, you need to have even a limit.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
So you are being charged pay as you go based on, number one, storage. How much storage has been allocated to you, and then based on data transfer, most importantly, and make sure that you have good internet.
Good internet is
Yes.
very important.
Yeah.
Good internet is very, very important. And that's when we have the MTN business solutions, cloud solutions also come in. We've spoken about this and made it very appealing. Emmanuel, what are some cost considerations small businesses can be looking at should they decide they want to roll out? I know we've spoken about budget and all that, but if I've done my strategy, I don't have any on-prem service, so it's not like I even have a budget that I'm looking at maybe cutting into half or spending when I move into the cloud solutions. What's on an average, how much should I be spending if I'm a small business? Can we just give an idea based on maybe some few things that we think we can recommend? An example can be Kwesi's question about CRM, for instance. What, in terms of cost, can he be looking at?
Okay. In terms of costs, largely it will depend on the number of a number of things. One, the space which you want to use is one key factor. So you can't just be dumping everything there. It's movies, huge files, videos, pictures, and other things. It will just increase your cost. All right. Currently, Even on the personal level, if you subscribe to, or Gmail gives you 15 gig by
Yes.
default.
Yes.
If you want more of that
Yeah.
to use for your business, you can start with that.
Yes.
So you buy up to 100 gig, which I am currently subscribed to.
Okay.
And do you know how much I pay? 9 CDs a month.
A month.
9 CDs a month for 100 gig.
Yeah.
Right? Many businesses could afford that, or even up to 200 or 1 terabyte.
So this is just by having access to a Gmail account, and then with your drive you can buy the extra storage
yes,
space.
And by that you would have access to Google Sheets for free. Google Meet for
Docs,
free.
Yeah.
All the other Office products, you have them for free to use. And something like Google Suite have a lot of them for free. So you can just start by that. So monthly, so I know every month I'll have to cost about 9 CDs for a storage capacity of 100 gig. So if the business needs more, you wouldn't spend more than up to 100 CDs per month for the things that you may be doing. But again, you look also at the number of people who will be using these services. So I think a great way to start is to start with the Google Suite, because most of these things are free. Before you move to probably to the advanced levels, if you need specifics, like the Microsoft 365, which you can have for a trial for some time before you buy the license based on the number of people you would want them to have access to these platforms that you are using.
The different services that are available.
Available.
Definitely. So in terms of money, there you have it. At least you can start with the free things that we've spoken about. Google is one of them. Having access to Gmail accounts, Google Drive, you have access to the different platforms that they have, Google Docs, Google Sheets, so many things. And definitely you can't be looking at that. We all have those days when you are low on everything: energy, time, cash, and even airtime and data. Well, that's why MTN Extra Time is an airtime and data advanced service that allows you to make calls or browse the internet even when you have insufficient balance. All you have to do is to dial *506# *506#. Go through the prompts and select the amount of airtime or data you need. It's more than simple. Doing your favorite things on MTN means you don't get interrupted even when you are low on airtime or data. Remember, all terms and conditions apply. I'm having a conversation with Prince Edu and Emmanuel Gadasu. We've been looking at cloud solutions and how small businesses can leverage these cloud solutions. And we've had an interesting conversation. We've been live on YouTube and on Facebook. Just in case you missed some of the things we spoke about, then you can just hop on them. So just in about 30 seconds to a minute, what would you say are your final words for a small business in terms of the conversations we have had leveraging cloud solutions?
Okay, so my final words, I would tell small businesses that the cloud is the future and it's already here. So the earlier you join the party, the better for you. Because today you've heard a lot of buzzwords around AI, machine learning, taking over a lot of businesses, giving competitive advantage to a lot of companies. So my submission is that you should be able to get into the cloud as early as possible.
Get into the cloud as early as possible.
Exactly, but make sure that you don't get wet.
Don't get wet, that's it. Emmanuel, just in about 30 seconds.
Okay, so
Final words.
In short, the cloud is not a platform for only big businesses. It is a platform for small businesses to leverage the technology that it presents so that they can utilize these opportunities to foster the growth that they need in their various places.
Definitely. Just in case somebody may want to reach out to you, I think it would be good to just share your contact details. I'll start with you, Prince, and then Emmanuel.
Okay, so you can reach out to me at 0246 936458. 0246 936458.
Okay, Emmanuel.
All right, mine is 0243 91 3077. 0243 91 3077.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me. It's been your girl, Adobea Biritwum, on Geek Squad. A big thank you to my producer, Prince Safo. And a very big thank you to you, Obolo, Debbie Akuma, Dainty, thank you so much. I received my anniversary cake. Thank you so much for sharing that with me, Deborah of Lab USA. God willing, next week we would be back. Thank you so much for making time to join us. Up next is news. Stay tuned.